click on.
And it may make you hang up and then click the link back on.
Okay. It says not connected to a server. This is not good. Huh. Hang on, bear with me here.
Okay. Take your time. This is why we do it a little early, just to figure it out. And Zoom and Facebook aren't playing nicely, so they took that away today. Zoom did.
Yeah.
They're all suing each other, I guess.
Oh boy.
But we found some alternatives, just trying to do it in the middle of a really busy day. It's difficult.
Okay, let's see here. Come on. Oh, brother. Should do it. Huh. I don't get it. I don't know what's wrong here. Let me try again. Oh, wait a second. Oh, wait. I think I just discovered it. Hang on.
Take your time.
Loading it onto my phone here. I was working off of my iPad. Let's see.
If you're working on your is that where you're working from? If you can download the Zoom app
Onto my iPad?
Yep. And then I'll give you the meeting number and you can just plug that in there once you've downloaded the Zoom app.
Okay, hang on. Let me do that.
Look great. There we go.
There.
Ta-da!
All right. Success.
Fantastic. All right. So, the one thing I don't know how is to pronounce your last name. Is it Krepcho or Krepko?
Krepcho.
Krepko. Got it. So we'll go about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Really just tell them a little bit about you for people who don't know you, and then we can dive right into what's going on, talk about Second Harvest, talk about maybe a little bit of the history on that, and then talk about what the needs are and how people can help. And that's really what we want to do. We want to get the word out.
Okay.
It will not go, because of the Facebook thing, it's not going to go live on Facebook, but it's going to go live on YouTube. And I'm going to try to do that right now.
Okay.
I won't go live until I tell you, but you will still be able to hear me and hopefully see me. So
Okay. Cool.
give me 1 second. Let me play with this. Okay. So I am still here. I just need to.
Thanks for getting the word out.
Of course. Thank you for all you guys are doing. Okay, we're going live.
Okay.
There's a little bit of a delay. And then I'm going to try to go live on Facebook, so bear with me for a second.
Okay.
Hey guys, what's happening? It's Ted Bogert with the TED Show. We are playing with the technology that we have. I have Dave Krepko from Second Harvest. Did I say it right, Dave?
You did.
All right. I actually did something right today, which is just seems to not be my forte today. And then we're gonna go. I'm gonna disappear for just a second, unless you can still see me. And we're gonna go live on Facebook in this new world that we have. Crazy. So how's your day going?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Chipping away. It's crazy times. It's crazy times, though. You know, it's trying to keep up with the emails, phone calls, meetings, you name it.
Well, you have a job, but you serve our community, and I mean that just doesn't go away because we're furloughed, or we're not furloughed is the wrong word, but we're not going in and we're not meeting people. There's still people that have a need. So let's get to Second Harvest in a minute. Tell them a little bit about you.
Well, I've been doing this food banking thing for 26 years across the country, starting in Miami, went to Chicago, back to Orlando here. And, you know, we run a fairly big operation here. Just love the work. You know, food is just a basic human need, basic human right. And to be able to take all this would be wasted food, you know, and going into landfills and to rescue that is perfectly edible. And to get it to people in need, you know, it's a very, very fulfilling role to play.
Sure. Well, because like you said, it's a basic need. And especially during times like this, and more people are losing their jobs. I am sure your demand for your services is just got to have increased dramatically. It's such a trying time. All right, so tell us about Second Harvest Food Bank. When did that start, and how are the services provided?
Yeah, we started about 37 years ago, very small, and have grown. We're based in Orlando, Florida, but we serve 6 counties in Central Florida. So we go way over to the what they call the Space Coast, over on the Atlantic Ocean, a little bit towards Tampa, not quite to Tampa. And then we go south of Orlando into the attractions area where Disney and Universal and SeaWorld and all that is happening, and all the convention hotels and convention center. And then we go a little bit north of Orlando as well. So it's a large territory to cover. And in that territory, we're providing food to 550 different charitable feeding programs.
So you're a conduit for,
Exactly.
wow, I don't think I knew that part. So yeah, because there's lots of, I call them mom and pop, but they're grassroots organizations that are trying to feed people. You help those people feed people.
Yeah, we're really the fuel for all those organizations. So they draw the food from us. It's a great, very efficient system. Rather than 550 different organizations knocking on a food donor's door, that just doesn't work, you know, for anybody. So it's built with incredible efficiency. And it's unbelievable how much food is out there. Last year, outside of disaster relief time, we distributed enough food for 60 million meals in Central Florida. Now, the more amazing thing is that it's not enough. There's just there's a lot of reasons for that. If we have a chance to get into that, for sure. But now that we're in disaster relief times, again, we're used to these natural disasters, but this one is just totally unprecedented for everybody in this country in all kinds of ways. But so our distribution is doubling, actually.
Where does the food come from? I think people want to know, like, where does it come from? It doesn't magically appear.
That's right.
Although I'm sure people do want to donate, but you have things in place where I'm sure you have a whole chain of command and a way to do things. Explain to people what happens, how you go out and you actually get the food that you can distribute.
Right. So we work with the food industry directly. So it's from multiple sources. So you have your food manufacturers, okay? You have the large cereal companies, you have Kraft, you have Purdue, you have all these major companies. So we're part of a national organization called Feeding America, and they have the relationships with those national corporate entities. So from the food manufacturers, we're getting a certain amount of our food. We have to pay to truck that into Florida. It gets very expensive. And then we have local food distributors, food wholesalers, grocery stores, retail grocery stores as well. Then there's USDA. We have a contract with USDA to distribute their commodities. And then we have to go out and purchase a lot of food as well. And normally during disaster relief, the community is a source of food for food drives. But in this situation, we're actually discouraging food drives because just the safety issue behind it all. And then we also have a program, because we're in a hospitality town, that we go out and we go to the convention hotels, to Disney, to independent restaurants, restaurant chains, and collect all that prepared food that has not been served, okay? And we're able to get that to people in need. So we have just a real variety of sources. Plus, the Florida farmers. We're in an agricultural state, and boy, we get fresh fruits and produce from them. And that's the healthiest meal people can get, and often is the most expensive kind of food that, you know, people have to buy.
So you alluded to earlier that there's different reasons why there's such a demand. Why there? Talk about that, please.
Yeah, even outside of this virus time, that's an obvious one. But one of the key indicators is, especially in our area, that there's a lot of low-wage jobs. Okay, minimum wage does not cut it, you know. But you combine low-wage jobs that are prevalent in a hospitality area, in a tourism-based, you know, industry as well. But combine that with the lack of affordable housing, and that's a crisis across the United States. But when you combine it with low incomes, you know, it's a really bad formula. The United Way of America did a study in a number of states, and they chose Florida as one state, and they interviewed working households. They polled working households in the state, and found out that 47% of the working households were struggling to pay their rent or mortgage, pay utilities, buy food, and the vast majority of them did not have $400 in a checking account to pay for any kind of emergency. So you take the working households, and then you take the senior citizens, you know, that have aged out of the workplace, who are maybe homebound, and then you take the children that are in those families, and you have a huge population. So that is the key reason why people are going in need.
So what are you doing creative? You've obviously had to be creative because there's no food drives.
Right.
And people are, obviously we have a lot of people hoarding different things for fear. And so people aren't as willing, it feels like they're not quite as willing to let go because they're uncertain. They don't know if this one item they let go of, there could be a complete shortage on.
Right.
And so people are kind of keeping everything tight. What are you all doing creatively and differently to address this crazy COVID scenario?
Yeah, one of the things we're doing, because, you know, a lot of times that our partner feeding programs would come to our facility to get their food. A little bit, some of that is happening, but we've had to go to a kind of a reverse model, and that is going out and delivering food. So we have these, what you call mobile pantries, and we'll send 30,000 pounds of food, enough for like 20,000 meals, out to a coordinated location where a group of these organizations can get together and do a distribution on site. So we're doing probably 10 to 20 of those a week. So that is really intensified. It can get very expensive too. The other thing that we're doing is that we have a production kitchen in our facility, and we are producing about 6,500 meals a day.
Wow.
And we're delivering those to food deserts, areas that we know that have a lack of, you know, choices of decent food. You know, all the restaurants are closed, you know, in our area. And so we have not these food trucks, but they're like a mini food truck. They're a trailer, And we have about 7 or 8 of these. So we are constantly, daily deploying those to these other, a variety of areas. So that keeps us on our toes. And just really trying to work with some really highly trained volunteers. Typically, again, in a natural disaster, the volunteers will come in, and you almost have to, there's just so many of them. In this situation, we've had a lot of volunteers back out of their commitments. So thank goodness, though, we have a steady stream, but we have to limit the number because of social distancing.
Right.
So at a time of highest need, we have to turn the spigot a bit off on the number of volunteers. It's just unheard of.
It's a challenge, a huge challenge.
It's a challenge daily, right?
So tell me
our creativity has really, really paid off, and is getting a lot of food out there.
What is your, if somebody's listening and they want to help, what's the easiest, most impactful way that somebody can help right now?
Right. And that's financially, and a lot of folks might be, burned out on being asked for money from nonprofits, and they get approached a lot. But at this point in time, as I said, food drives aren't going to really do it. We have the system in place. We have the food supply so far in place, and we have the distribution outlets in place. So the system is set up for maximum efficiency. So we're asking for finances. And this is how, when you make a donation, you wonder, how far is this really going? How much is being used for fundraising and administration? Well, we did a plan for the next 90 days, and it's going to cost us $2 million to do this work over the next 90 days. Less than 1% of that is administrative. So people, for every dollar donated, we distribute enough food for $9 worth of groceries. I mean, that's an incredible return on investment. There's an entity called Charity Navigator out there. They analyze all charities. They look at their finances, how they spend their money, are they efficient? And we receive a 97% efficiency ratio.
That's amazing.
Year in and year out. So financial donations go a long way. On our website, if people Googled Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida, you could see right there on our homepage, there's a link to what we call a virtual food drive. So there's creativity, right?
There it is. That's creative.
So people click into the virtual food drive. They depending on how much they want to donate, they can see how much food that's going to provide. So it's a real quick and easy way. It's a way for people, no matter what financial means they are, to pitch in and help.
Awesome. All right, Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida. I will tag you when we post this. It's live on YouTube, but it will be live on Facebook. I did a link on Facebook. Let's see, Dave, we're experimenting together. I'm not sure if it's live or not, but we will get the message out. It's just such a critical, amazing service that you all provide, and you do it. For every $10, 9 of it goes to the food, and that is a big, huge deal. I think what you guys do in the community is such a blessing. Always been a huge fan of Second Harvest. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank all your team.
Welcome.
And thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it. We'll get
Thank
it
you.
out there. Thank you so much, Dave Krepcho, guys. Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida. Y'all have a great one. Thanks so much again, Dave.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.